Hello, my name is Jessica Colton. I'm excited to introduce you to my online portfolio. I teach in Springfield, Massachusetts. I am licensed to teach pre-K to second grade with and without disabilities. I am currently in my 4th year of teaching. So far, I have taught kindergarten for 1.5 years, second grade for 1.5 years, and right now I'm in my 1st year of teaching 1st grade. I think that second grade is my sweet spot so far because the students are getting more independent academically and they're making more complex connections, but they're still learning the crucial social emotional skills that they need to thrive. My school is in a low-income urban district, and many of the students are on the bus for up to 45 minutes each way from the inner city. All of the students have free lunch and free breakfast. It is a kindergarten to grade 5 school that teaches math, writing, reading, science, and social studies. Something great about my school is that it has a high emphasis on social emotional growth, and morning meeting is built into our schedule. So basically we have time allotted each morning for classroom community building. Taking this time to get to the root of the problem is a preventative measure that allows us to move from being a reactive school to a proactive school. We also have a PBIS team, Positive Behavior Intervention Systems, and I am a member on this committee that helps to set expectations and reward good behavior. So in my completion of this master's program, I have created an online portfolio that showcases my mastery of some of the CAEP standards. One of my favorite parts of my online portfolio is exemplifying Standard 1.4 about creating a supportive environment to help students achieve college and career readiness based on state standards. Springfield is a very highly data-driven district, so having this data specific to the standards helps me to target my instruction and action plan for future lessons. This helps me to create instructional groupings, which is a critical part of all of my classrooms. As a majority of my day, I have chosen to structure as small group learning. Without knowing my students' progress in the standards, this would be nearly impossible. The 2 artifacts that I chose from my e-portfolio that highlight this standard are a final portfolio from Curriculum and Teaching Comprehension and Study Strategies for use with multiple texts, and a Literacy and Language Exchange project from Curriculum and Teaching Reading in the English Language Learner. For my first artifact, the final portfolio, I first outlined a brief description of my school and individual classroom. The most helpful step in this process was identifying issues that contribute to comprehension difficulties. This really forced me to step back and reflect upon the problems that are causing the issues we're seeing in the classroom. This again relates to that mentality of my school, where getting to the root of the problem can be a proactive measure. I identified 4 crucial issues that contribute to the reading comprehension difficulties. Firstly, a highly transient student body leads to lack of consistency and stability. Most of our students, by the time they get to 5th grade, have either gone to another school or transferred in from a different school, either in Springfield or another school in the state. Secondly, a lack of schema due to the high level of English language learners and a low socioeconomic status of most of the students. Thirdly, a lack of resources, like enough books or enough staffing. And finally, a high population of English language learner and SPED students that leads to a huge range of abilities that would be best suited for a larger staff than we have at such a small school. So knowing these challenges that influence the comprehension abilities of many of our students helped me to directly combat them with strategies to aid comprehension, as well as just being more aware of the challenges that the students face. Next, after I identified the challenges to comprehension, I selected state standards for reading, and I used strategies like visualizing, questioning the author, and inferencing to create lesson plans that would lead to mastery of these standards. The first standard that I chose was about visualizing, because one of the most important parts of reading, in my opinion, is being able to picture what the author is talking about. This really shows me that they are understanding what's happening and able to kind of put themselves into the shoes of the characters. As I mentioned before, the lack of schema that many students at my school have is limiting to their comprehension and fluency. Helping with visualizing means front-loading vocabulary, helping them really imagine what's going on in the text, and slowing down enough to really engage with the text. Next, questioning the author is important because when they begin writing more thoroughly, they will need to make decisions as the author that will help the reader understand more. Also, it helps them to come up with deeper understandings of the text that they're reading because they're questioning every decision, every event, and every character in the book. Finally, inferencing is hugely important for English language learner and special education students because it helps them look beyond the words in the text to understand the nuances that are not mentioned in the text, because these nuances add hugely to the meaning behind the text. My second artifact was the Language and Literacy Exchange Project. For this project, I chose a highly motivated English language learner identified student, identified through access testing as a level 2, and I chose to boost her comprehension and vocabulary. I selected a bilingual text, The Three Little Pigs or Los Tres Cerditos by Patricia Siebert. The student, Cindy, who I worked with, was a second grade student who has been in schooling in English since kindergarten at our school. But at home, she only speaks Spanish. This means that I have a lot of English language literacy skills as well as background knowledge to base my lessons off of, but the schema knowledge is strongest in Spanish. Knowing this helped me to craft an individualized set of lessons that would be most beneficial to this particular student. I chose the RRWWT model, which comes from the Words Their Way program. This acronym stands for Read To, Read With, Writing With, Word Study, and Talk With. First, I read the book to her and then highlighted some key vocabulary that was vital to her comprehension of the text. We then completed a task related to the vocabulary, and I made sure to use her skills in Spanish to better access the vocabulary. I did this by translating the definition into Spanish for her and then repeating it in English. I had her draw pictures of some of the vocabulary words to show me that she really understood some of this crucial language without which she would have a very difficult time understanding the text. The second time we met, a few days later, we read the book again together, this time through the process of shared reading. I noticed a big jump in her comprehension already just by accessing that front-loaded vocabulary that we had done the first day. During the third time we met, I had her complete a writing task about the text. And then the fourth time, we completed a word study about digraphs that appeared throughout the text as our word study. The final piece of the process was talking about the text, going through central ideas from the text that were best addressed through discussion. This assignment helped me to plan for using a student's home language to aid comprehension of different lessons and assignments to maximize the connections and understandings that they take away from each lesson. This is such an important part of my career at the moment because of the location in which I teach, but I believe that it will continue throughout my career, no matter my location, as the United States continues to value the cultures and languages of all of its citizens. I know that these two assignments, in addition to the countless other worthwhile projects I have completed throughout this master's program, will aid in my next career moves. My current goal is to complete about 10 years of classroom teaching at the kindergarten to second grade level, and then use my experience and knowledge from this program to become a reading interventionist. This has always been my career goal because of my lifelong love for reading, but as I have taught more, my dream has been solidified. Every time I watch a student decode a new word, have a deeper understanding of a text, or discuss a text with a peer. This love of reading is one that I hope to pass on to all of my students in the future, and individualized instruction is the best way to accomplish this in my opinion. That's why I want to become a reading interventionist so that I can have direct time, one-on-one, or in a small group setting with students to maximize my relationship with them and maximize their learning. This program has equipped me with a degree and certificate that will lay the foundation for this position, but it has also provided me invaluable skills and knowledge that will aid me in providing the best reading instruction to all the students I encounter.